kind of a big day at the World Cup, isn't it? So Lionel Messi, career's over at the World Cup in all likelihood. Then a couple hours later, Cristiano Ronaldo, probably done too. Uruguay will now face France in the quarterfinals. That should be a really solid matchup. And what it drives home is that the teams that win are the teams that are the best teams. So you may have the best player on your team, but if you don't fill that team out with the best players, you get overwhelmed. I feel between the two games, I thought France bent and didn't break. And once they were down 2-1 against Argentina, they showed a lot of fight. That was really kind of awe-inspiring. And I think France probably knocks off Uruguay in the next round, but who knows? The Uruguay-Portugal matchup, though, Portugal really deserved a better result. I got to be honest. That second half, I thought Portugal played fantastic, but they couldn't finish it. They really couldn't finish it. I thought the best illustration of that was, here you are, you're in extra minutes, you're past 90, and you've got your goaltender coming up when there's a corner for your team because you're that desperate for a goal. And the goalie's the one that headed the ball. So they're done. The probably anyways the World Cup careers of both Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, two of the best players of the generation. I thought Suarez was okay. It's funny because Suarez is one of my favorite players, and I know people don't like him. Plays for Luis Suarez, who plays for Uruguay. But I didn't think he was the best player for Uruguay today, and that's the good thing if you're a fan of Uruguay, is that they're going into the next round. They're going to play France, and I think they were okay. They weren't fantastic, so maybe they're due for a big game against France. I want to say too, the game between France and Argentina was one of the best soccer matches I've ever watched. It was exciting. It was heartbreaking. The one thing I noticed was that every time France scored, they had a nice isolated camera on Lionel Messi, and you could just see it in his face. I don't think Messi went into today's game believing that the team that he was with had a chance of beating the French. I don't. And I think every time France scored, it became more apparent to him this team wasn't good enough. I thought the Argentinian defense was abysmal. And it's too bad, because if their defense was better and goaltending was better, they win today. They did get 3 goals. And Messi's, which was deflected, so it's not his goal, but the deflection that went in, that was just beautiful. But France, you can't just allow them to run up the field like that and tee off. They're going to score 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 goals if you give them chances like that. So I did feel bad for him. I felt bad for Messi, and I felt like he was trying to drag the team, and the team just wasn't good enough. So as much as we were having the conversation a week ago about whether or not maybe Messi just doesn't come up in these big games, today wasn't the case. It wasn't on Messi at all. This was about the team not being put together very, very, very well. And it's obvious that the Argentinian team is in massive disarray. That whole program really needs to be torn down. Because the talent is there, but the organization clearly... And to be honest, if I had a dime for every time I've heard about Diego Maradona's opinion on the team, I'm sorry, but if he's not the coach, and if he's not a GM, who cares? Just, if leave him, just forget it. Just don't ask him questions. Just leave it. Because it doesn't feel like any of that does the team any good whatsoever. For France, that was France. That's the first time I've seen a game today and said, these are the French. This is the team that scares the hell out of me at any given World Cup. And Uruguay today, they showed that defensively they can do it, although today was not as solid a defensive performance as they showed in the group stage. If they play defensively like that against the French, they're going to get burned. Portugal didn't have the finish. France does. France has the strikers to kill it. And I don't know what happens from here, but yeah, the two biggest names are out of the tournament on the same day. And they were mentioning towards the end here that in 2006, I believe they said, both Messi and Ronaldo scored their first goals ever at World Cups at a World Cup the same day, and now they're eliminated and their careers could both be ended on the same day. So they come in together, they go out together, and I would think mutual frustration for both. But again, it shows that you just have to have the best team. And it doesn't matter if they have the best striker. As long as you have the best team, and as long as you have a game plan, you win. So there you go. I think Portugal's got some soul searching to do. I think Argentina is ready to set the whole thing on fire, and I don't necessarily think that's wrong. But did I hear right that this was the fourth different coach they've had for the Argentinian team in a short period of time? Third or fourth coach? Get it together. You can't just keep changing coaches. That's ridiculous. So, and yet, that being said, do I think this coach survives? Nah, he's going to lose his job too. The easy thing to do is just fire the coach. Team didn't show up well, just fire the coach. It can be a good thing, but in this case, if they keep firing the coach, you have to start looking at the people making those decisions. Who hired the coach? Who fired the previous one? Why was he fired? You have to start looking over the entire organization. So, for France and for Uruguay, they both look fantastic today. And they're in good shape going into the next round. But France scares me. I really think France scares me. And as much as Uruguay ekes out a win today, I really think the French are going to end up at least in the semifinals. But there you go. So let me know which result surprised you more, if either result surprised you at all. I had expected a little more flash and dash in the Portugal-Uruguay game than we saw, but then again, after that France matchup with Argentina, could anything match up to that? Really? That might be the best game that we see in the entire tournament, really honestly. But we've still got a bunch more round of 16 action to go, with 2 more going tomorrow. So let me know your thoughts on today's games. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And between Messi and Ronaldo, which player is going to be more upset about never getting a World Cup? Because odds are, when we hit 2022, odds are they're both off their national teams. It's possible they could be there, but it's highly unlikely. But again, I've been surprised before. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.